So, now that I've been a monk for, you can say, 35 years, 3 years in Mahayana and 32 years in Theravada, for me, life has been a blessing, because the Buddha said, a wise person benefits himself and benefits others. A stupid person only wants to benefit himself, selfish. So the Buddha's definition of a wise person and a foolish person is different from the worldly definition. A wise person is one who practices his life according to Dhamma, and he will be either reborn only in the human and heavenly realms, and he will never go to the woeful plains, the 3 woeful plains. So if you don't understand the Dhamma, then you do things that you should not do. And things that you should do, you don't do. Recently I went to Philippines. I was teaching Buddhism to these Christians, Catholics mostly. I asked them, what is the biggest sin? Christians always talk about sin. I asked them, what is the biggest sin? Somebody said, kill somebody. I said, no. And they don't know how to answer. I told them the biggest sin is ignorance. Don't take the trouble to find out the truth. Each of us, we should ask ourselves, where did we come from? What made us? After we die, where are we going? A lot of people don't ask these questions when you are young. But when you are dying, then you ask these questions. A lot of people, they chase after worldly, material wealth, fame and all these things. Then suddenly when they are about to die, then they think, I wanted wealth, I got wealth. I wanted a spouse, I got a spouse. I wanted beautiful children, I got beautiful children. I wanted a big house, I got a big house. I wanted 1 or 2 cars, I got everything I got. Grandchildren also I got. Now I have to go. What's the meaning of all this? You struggle so hard to get all these things, but all taken away from you. So, is it worth it? It's not worth it. You must work for those things that you can bring along. Worldly wealth you cannot bring along with you, but spiritual wealth you can bring along. So, you must know what is valuable in life. A lot of people, like recently, who was that? Steve Jobs, is it? When he was dying also, he said he wanted money, he got so much money, but I said, what's the meaning? So for somebody like me, I'm a beggar, The Buddha said, a monk is called a bhikkhu. Bhikkhu, from the word big, big means beg. So the Buddha said, monks, you are called a beggar. The lowest calling in life. But you did not become a beggar because you were forced to become a beggar. You became a beggar because you chose to become a beggar. And for a good reason. So materially, as a monk or a nun, we are poor. But spiritually, we are not poor. So, the happiness we get is a different kind of happiness. It's an inner happiness, not dependent on outside things. If you depend on outside things, in the end you cannot bring along with you. Then it's all meaningless. But if you get the happiness within, you can bring with you. It's a lasting happiness. So, at this stage of your life, young people, you must consider carefully what you want to do with your life. Make it a meaningful life. A meaningful life is the one that not only benefits you, but benefits other people. And in the end, you will realize you lived a good life. Christians say you fought a good battle, a good fight. Okay. Any question? In the Bible, there is a parable of a rich man This rich man wanted to go on a long journey. So he gave wealth to 3 of his workers. He told them to use the wealth well. Then after some time, maybe after a few months or a year, he came back. And then he asked them how they used the money. One returned the money to him, said he saved it carefully. And what he received from his master, he gave back the same amount. The master was not happy with him. Another one, he enjoyed himself using the money. So he had little left to give the master. Master also not happy with him. Another one, he made a lot of money with the money that the master gave. And then he returned to the master. The master was happy with him. What was the meaning of this parable? The meaning of this parable is that we come into life as a human being with a certain amount of blessings. And if you are smart, by the time you go off, when you are dying, you have more blessings than now. But most people are not like that. Most people, they don't know the Dhamma. So they live a selfish life. And as a human being, we are in a happy destination of rebirth. So we eat well, we sleep well. You want to leasing to China, you can. You want to watch internet or TV, whatever you can, videos and all that. And some of you may have 3 or 4 cars in the house. So every day you're using up your blessings, By the time you die, most people, your blessings is reduced. That is why most people, when they die, they are going for rebirth in the ghost realm. You don't have to do any evil. Just live a normal life. Don't do any evil. Still you will go to the ghost realm. That is why you find when most people are dying, they are scared. Why? Because 2 or 3 days before you die, another world will start to surface. Your consciousness will change the channel to another dimension. And most of the time, people will see one Hokkien say, "Oh, hiya ti lai liao." Your departed relatives coming to welcome you to the ghost realm. It's very true. You just observe people who are dying. You see how many of them are happy. If you see devas and devis coming with a chariot to bring you to heaven, you can smile. But no, these people see grandma, grandpa coming to bring them to the ghost realm. So they are very frightened. Even worse, one devotee, old devotee told me the auntie has a very nasty character, very bad temper, always cursing relatives because of property division. She didn't get enough. 2 days before she died, the Dracula teeth came out so long. The children got scared. Could not cover the Dracula teeth. 2 days later when she died, the Dracula teeth disappeared. How come? Because each one of us, we have a linghun inside. Linghun inside. A soul. Some monks say we don't have a soul because they think a soul is permanent. A soul is not necessarily permanent. A soul in the Oxford Dictionary is defined as a spiritual part of man, often assumed to be permanent, not necessarily permanent. So the Buddhist soul is not permanent. So 2 or 3 days before that person dies, this soul is start to come out already. That's why this ghost, because of the character, the woman's character is like a fierce ghost, so she has turned into a fierce ghost inside. So it's coming out. 2 days later when she died, the soul came out, no more teeth. You can't see anymore. But there are some people, even though they don't turn into the fierce ghost, they turn into the ghost. And just 1 or 2 days ago, somebody told me, in Johor Bahru, the father is about to go, the face is turning into a ghost face. Frightening. 1 year ago also, one young man, one devotee, told me the mother is dying of cancer. Few days before the mother died, the face also changed. Changed to be a ghost face. So you have to be very careful. You are not this flesh body, This flesh body is just a shell. We are the spirit inside. And one day, when your flesh body is too old, you will have to leave it. So the Buddha said, a wise person is one who lives his life so that by the time he dies, he goes for a good rebirth. A stupid person will live his life very carelessly. By the time he dies, he will go for a bad rebirth. If he does evil, he'll be born either as an animal or in hell. But even if he does not do evil, he will most likely be reborn as a ghost. As a young person, you might find it hard to believe because you have not experienced, you have not seen. But as you grow older, you hear about other people's experience. Slowly, you will know. Any questions? How I came to believe in rebirth? Okay. There is at least 2 persons, more than 2 who have studied rebirth. One is Professor Ian Stevenson. If you look up the name, Professor Ian Stevenson, he's a professor in America. When he hears of somebody who remembers the past life, he will fly to Myanmar or to Thailand or to Sri Lanka, whatever country, and interview that person and find out that some people remember their past life for certain reasons. And usually it's a compelling reason. I read about one lady in Myanmar. Myanmar being a Buddhist country, like Thailand, they want the son to become a monk, at least a temporary monk for some time. So this lady, her husband was a gambler, and she had some money. She saved the money for the son to buy robes, to buy the alms bowl to become a monk. 2 sons. She was worried that the husband would take the money and go and gamble it away. So she hid the money. But at the age of 40-something, she suddenly got sick and died. So after she passed away, she was reborn as a girl in another village. And when she started to be able to talk, she kept asking to go back to her home. And her new parents at first found it hard to believe, but she keeps saying, and she knows exactly where is the village, her former life. So they brought her back now. When she went back to her whole house, she confronted the husband. She said, "Did you take the money for our son to become a monk?" The husband got a shock now. "Who's this small girl talking to me like my wife?" And slowly he understood. And he confessed. He took the money, went to gamble it away. So you see, because of this compelling reason, she does not want to forget. There's another person, I think Egerton Baptist. If you go to a Buddhist bookshop, you find a book called Rebirth, I think, by Egerton Baptist. There are many stories. Like some children, they can speak in a language that their parents don't know. Some children, very young, they can play a musical instrument. All this got to do with past life. So your question is, Sajjan Buddhadasa, when he talks about rebirth, he's talking about moment-to-moment rebirth. There are 2 ways of looking at it. One is the body dying and taking rebirth, the being. Another way is to talk about consciousness. Consciousness, most people, we think that consciousness is an unending stream. We think that consciousness starts at birth and then it lasts the whole life until we die, and then the consciousness stops. But the Buddha said it's not like that. Consciousness arises due to conditions. due to sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch and thoughts. When an object impinges on your sense organ, then that consciousness arises. For example, seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness and all that. Okay? So when consciousness arises, it arises with nama rupa. And nama rupa is the whole world. Once you are conscious of the whole world. So we think that we are living, for example, if you at the age of 75 you pass away. So you think that you are living for 75 years. Another way of looking at it is that the moment your consciousness arises, you are alive. The moment it ceases, you are dead. The moment it arises, you are alive. Then it ceases, you are dead. So there are two ways of looking at it. Okay?
There's some that you say about marriage. What are the best marriage and highest marriage that we should perform and do?
Okay, good question. How to get merit, blessings. The Buddha gave a formula, dana, sila, bhavana. Dana is charity, giving. And giving, when you give something, it is expected that you will get a vipaka, a return. The Buddha said if you give to an animal, for example, a bowl of rice, you can expect to get back 100 bowls of rice. If you give to a person who has no precepts, a person who is not morally virtuous, for example, a drug addict, you give to him, you can expect to get back 1,000 times what you gave. If you give to a morally upright person, a person with precepts, you can expect to get back 100,000 times what you gave. If you give to an external ascetic who has attained jhana, who has cut his sensual lust, even though he does not have right view, you can get back 100,000 times 100,000 fold. If you give to Arya, a noble person, is boundless, you get back boundless. So that is, but the highest material giving is giving of a monastery or a dwelling for the Sangha. Because when you give to the Sangha, a dwelling, then you perpetuate the Sangha. The Sangha will continue, monks and nuns. And when the Sangha continues, the Dhamma will also continue. Because the Sangha is the one that transmits the Dhamma. So that is the highest material giving. But higher than giving is Sila. Sila is upholding the precepts, not harming other living beings. And the important precepts is 7 precepts. These 7 precepts are found in the Aryan Eightfold Path, also called the Aryan Sila. Right speech, right action and right livelihood. If you investigate these 3 factors, it is 7 precepts. 3 body precepts and 4 verbal precepts. But the highest still is bhavana. Bhavana people often translate as meditation. It is not only meditation. Bhavana is the 6, 7 and 8 factor of the Aryan Eightfold Path. Right effort and right mindfulness and right concentration. Right effort and right mindfulness is to develop your character. Bhavana, the word means development. So it is development of your character, because if you practice these 2, right effort and right mindfulness, you will get rid of unwholesome states of mind. And you will develop wholesome states of mind. Unwholesome states of mind like greed, anger, hatred, revenge, jealousy, small-heartedness, selfishness, arrogance, all these things will bring you to the woeful planes of rebirth, to the ghost realm, animal realm and hell realm. Wholesome states of mind is like kindness, generosity, compassion, meekness, humility, generosity, all this will bring you up for a good rebirth. So if you practice right mindfulness and right effort, you develop your character. Your character is very important because your character will determine your lingun, your soul. How your soul is shaped is according to your character. And character is so important. The Buddha said, if you want to be reborn in heaven, you have to siu sing now, cultivate yourself until you become a Deva or a Devi now. Don't wait until you go to heaven to become a Deva or a Devi. Now you have to become a Deva or a Devi inside. Then the moment you die, the Deva and the Devi inside will go to heaven. That is what siu sing is about. Siu sing is siu sing wei. So, sing wei is your character, your conduct, change your conduct. So, this is development of the character. And right concentration is development of the 4 jhanas. When you attain the jhanas concentration, your mind is got rid of the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances make us blur, make us have no wisdom. Lead us away from Nibbana, the Buddha said. Make us of blindness. You can't see properly. It's like an unfocused mind. But when you develop concentration, your mind becomes focused. Then you have wisdom. Not only that, when you attain the jhanas, you have transcended the sensual realm and you've gone to the Brahma realm, the Rupa Loka. You have become like a higher Deva. So, that is development of mind. Getting right concentration is development of mind. Both are important. Development of character and development of mind. That's the meaning of bhavana. That's the highest merit. Because if you practice bhavana, you can become an Arya. Once you become an Arya, the 3 woeful planes are closed. You'll never be reborn ever again as a ghost, an animal, or in hell. You'll only be reborn as a human being and a Deva or Devi. And then your blessings, your merit will be very great. You come back, you have long life. Ayu vano sukhang balang. You have long life. You are beautiful. You are happy, extremely happy. And you become famous and you have power. So the greatest blessing is bhavana. You see somebody like Angulimala, the bandit, he killed several hundred people. So he should have gone to hell. But because of the Buddha went to him, taught him the Dhamma, and he understood and he became a monk. After becoming a monk, he practiced very hard. Then became an Arahant. He didn't have to repay all that evil that he did.
Bante, I want to ask is what I learned in Buddhism before is that your karma should determine where you rebirth, where you are reborn to. So, if for example, if I were to be a diligent Dharma practitioner, I uphold my precepts, I uphold my 5 precepts. I do charitable deeds, and I be a good Dharma practitioner. And then, like what you say, when we accumulate good karma, we'll be either be reborn in the Deva realm or the human realm. But is it possible that let's say I accumulated my merits and I make an aspiration for my rebirth, like, because I don't want to be reborn, like, let's say I have lots of merit, but I don't want to be reborn in the Deva realm. I still want to come back to the human realm and practice Dharma in the human realm. And also, I would like to have let's say I do a lot of donations. So, in Buddhism, we have one teaching called 众合一得合果. So that means if I do a lot of donations, I would most probably be a rich person in my next life. So is it possible that instead of becoming a rich person in my next life, using my merits, I aspire to be reborn in a family that is of virtues and of moral on, I will also be reborn in a family of who practices the Buddha Dharma, so that in next life I can also be a Buddhist again. Is it possible?
Provided you have the blessings, the merit, when you make an aspiration, it is possible. If you don't have the merit, you make an aspiration, it's not possible. Just like if you think you want to be reborn in the heaven, but you don't keep your precepts, you don't do charity, but you recite Amitabha and you think you want to be reborn in heaven, it's not possible. In the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha said, what we want in life, we cannot get by praying for it. We cannot get by making vows. We cannot get by crying for it. The Buddha said, if can get, why is there so much suffering in the world? The hell beings are crying every day. The hell beings are crying out so loud. Who is helping them? The ghosts are crying at night because they are walking on the streets, nothing to eat. They have to eat the dead frog, have to eat the dead chicken, have to eat the dead lizard. Nothing to eat, they have to go to the jamban, the toilet, to eat the shit. Who is helping them? Nobody is helping them. Because cannot help them, because life is like a dream. When you are having a nightmare, nobody can help you because you are inside your nightmare. The other person is not inside your nightmare. Nobody is inside your nightmare. So it's the same in life. The Buddha said, what we want in life, we have to work for it. For example, the Buddha gave 3 striking similes. I give you 2. One is the Buddha said somebody wants to get oil. So he takes sesame seed, jima, mochi. Then he grind the sesame seed. Then he will get oil. Whether he prays for it or he does not pray for it, he'll get oil. Whether he makes a vow or he does not make a vow, he gets oil. But somebody seeing from far, you see the jima, sesame seed is so small, he thought he want to copy. He takes sand, he go and grind the sand. Can he get oil? He cannot get oil. He prays for it, can he get? Can Kuan Yin help him to get oil? He cannot. Make a vow, can he get? He cannot. Because you are doing the wrong thing, the Buddha said. So the Buddha said in the same way, somebody wants butter. He takes milk, he churns that butter. After a while, the butter become like yogurt, become like curd. Keep on churning, and then it becomes butter. So the Buddha said, he doesn't have to pray, doesn't have to make vow, he will get butter. But another person doesn't understand, he takes water, churn the water, 100 years or so he cannot get. He prays for it, also cannot get. Make vow, also cannot get. Why? Because he's not doing the right thing. So the Buddha said, you must understand how to get what you want and do the right thing. Suppose as a student in the university, you want to get all A's for your subject. You go and pray to Tua Pek Kong, can get or not? Pray to Dato Kong, can get or not? Pray to whatever Kong Kong, also you won't get. Because that's not the right way to get it.
Sir, sorry. Forgive me my sound ignorant. Can I ask if the reason why the Buddha taught rebirth is because at that point in time when Buddhism, when Buddha got enlightened, right, everybody understood the cosmology as Hindu cosmology. So basically it was a way for the Buddha to teach, make the teachings understandable to the Hindus at that point in time. Is it possible? Is that the reason why he taught rebirth?
If you say it is understood by the Hindus, then you don't have to say, Everybody knows about rebirth.
No, as in, the reason why he taught it was because that was the way to understand, the Hindus understand Dharma.
No, the Buddha was trying to tell us because a lot of people, they don't believe in rebirth because they don't see. So the Buddha is trying to say there is rebirth, and there is happy destinations of rebirth, there are woeful destinations of rebirth. That is why you have to be careful in life. Don't do the wrong things, unwholesome karma that will bring you to a place of suffering. The Buddha is very compassionate. He wants to help us to reduce our suffering. So he's telling us many things that we don't know. When you learn the Dhamma, then you know many things. Actually, even certain things that Jesus Christ said, a lot of Christians, they don't know. For example, in the Bible it says, make your eye one. Make thine eye one. It's to open your third eye. And then Jesus said, you have 7 temples within you. In your body there are 7 temples. These are the chakra points in Hinduism. And then they try to eliminate this teaching about rebirth in the Bible. But the early Christian fathers, they believe in rebirth. Only later it was deleted. But still there is one Gospel according to St. John, I think chapter 5, where a priest came to see Jesus at night. And then he asked Jesus, he said, Lord, is it true that man must be reborn again before he can enter the kingdom of God? And Jesus said, truly I say unto you, unless a man be born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Then this man said, what? You mean a person must enter the womb again? Again the Jesus said, yes. Truly I say, unless a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Now what is this born of water and of spirit? The Christians say, born of water, you must be baptized. Born of spirit, when you go for Mass, you have to drink the wine. But in the Buddha's teachings, there are 4 types of rebirth. You can be reborn from the egg, you can be reborn from the womb, you can be reborn from water or vapor, and you can be reborn from the spirit. It's direct transformation without going through any intermediate stage. So the Buddha says that the womb born is the lowest. The egg born is the lowest. Higher than that is the womb born. Higher than that is the vapor born or water born. And higher than that is the born of the spirit, direct transformation. So the womb born is like a human. So higher than human is the deva. So like born of the vapor, born of water, maybe cloud devas. In the cloud, vapor, they are reborn there. And then higher devas is directly they are reborn there. So a lot of things the Buddha taught just to help us reduce suffering. The Buddha, one day he took some earth on his fingernail, and then he asked his monks, you see this on my fingernail, is it more of the soil in the whole earth? Then they said, on your fingernail is so little compared to the whole earth. The Buddha said, in the same way, what I teach is so little, what I know is so much. The Buddha said, I only teach the 4 noble truths, because the Buddha wants us to reduce our suffering. A lot of things he doesn't want to talk about because it cannot help you.
Since you're talking about people, how about people who actually commit suicide? What will happen?
A person who commits suicide is full of dukkha. And why is he full of dukkha? Sometimes because he did something wrong. Sometimes because he does not have enough blessings. So after he commits suicide, it's more likely to be reborn in the ghost realm. Committing suicide, you're not harming anybody but harming yourself. So sometimes people say, if you commit suicide, then you keep on committing suicide. I don't think it's true. Cannot be true. Why? Because there are some people like me, you bring me up very high and I look down a few hundred feet, I get soft feet. I get frightened, you look down. Why? Because previous life probably I've already fallen so from a height. So when you see, you're scared. Similarly, if a person commits suicide, when he falls down, I had a friend who committed suicide from the 17th floor. He came down, he smashed his head. So you imagine, just before he died, he experienced the pain, so great the pain. You think it doesn't stay with him, it stays. Next time you bring him so high, probably he look down, he gets so scared, he dare not go near the ledge. You're not likely to do it again. Just like some people, you give them the opportunity to commit adultery, they dare not do it. Why? Maybe previous life they suffered for it, next time they dare not do. You give some people the opportunity to slaughter a chicken, also they dare not do because previously they suffered for it. So life, we come again and again, we learn our lessons. As we learn, certain things we dare not do again.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the talk. Thank you, Bhante, so much for the enlightening sharing. Can we pay 3 prostrations to Bhante, please?